Hello everybody! Welcome to a baking video. I always think there should be more baking content on my channel, just I don't really know how to fit it in with the usual schedule, but it's Vlogmas. I can do whatever I want this month. At least that's how I'm justifying this relatively crappy video, because it is quite late in the evening, the lighting is terrible in my kitchen, and I am very tired, but I have been planning on making this particular muffin recipe for a while, and I just really want to make it, so I'm gonna do it and push through all the other little issues. So yes, I am going to make this recipe. It is the spiced basmati almond muffins. I have been carrying this recipe around for about 15 years. Back when I was first learning how to cook and to bake in my mid-teens, I came across this recipe. I got really into making muffins, and I remember that I made this recipe a couple of times. I really liked it. It was really unusual, but it was a lot of work and I kept getting it wrong. It does actually take basmati rice, and I either undercooked it or overcooked it. So I'd have crunchy rice or burnt rice. I had to make it in a pot at the time. But now I'm an adult and I have an automatic rice cooker, which makes it so much easier. So basically, I'm just gonna make this recipe for the first time in 15 years and see if it's anywhere near as good as I remember it being. And I'm also gonna veganize it at the same time, which pray for me, guys. Usually I don't have an issue with just my usual substitutions for milk and eggs and butter. But because this recipe is kind of different, I don't know how it might behave, so we're gonna find out. Anyway, that's the intro. Let's get to baking. To save on time, I have prepped 3 of the ingredients already. We have the cooked and cooled basmati rice. It's at room temperature now. And then we have the chopped and toasted almonds and some grated orange zest. I'm gonna start with the spice mix first. This has a lot of spices and most of them are my favorites, except of course for the fennel. This is half a teaspoon of ground fennel. I actually really don't like fennel. Only if it's with other things. I don't like it as a spice on its own. That is as good as it's gonna get. And then we need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of ground cardamom, which is one of my favorite things ever. This is like the spice of the gods. Then it calls for half a teaspoon of allspice or cloves, and the correct answer is cloves. If you have to choose, it's always cloves, right? Dry ingredients next. 2 cups of all-purpose flour. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. I almost said baking soda. Eek. Yes, baking powder. And 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And then it says to throw in the spices and the orange zest in with this. Spices. I can get it all. Now my hands smell like spices. Oh, orange zest. Where did I put the orange zest? Ah, over here. It says 2 teaspoons of orange zest. I think that's enough. We're just gonna call it good. Who needs measuring? Now my fingers smell like orange zest. Wow, that really smells good. That smells really, really good. It's not even baked yet. What next? Then I need to add 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. Ava, there's rice on the floor. There you go. You missed it. It's there. I know I should measure this, but I really don't feel like it, so we're gonna call that 1.5 cups. I'm a little worried though, because I feel like this rice is really wet. But, oh well. And you also add the almonds at this point. Yeah, I feel like this rice is really clumping when it should be. I definitely do not remember this part of making this recipe. Well, this is mostly declumpified now, so I'm gonna move on to the wet ingredients. And this is when I have to veganize things somewhat. I'm just gonna use almond milk instead of the buttermilk. It already has an acid in it. It calls for a tablespoon of lemon juice, and usually I would, you know, to substitute buttermilk, you add like apple cider vinegar to the almond milk, like maybe a teaspoon or so. I'm just gonna add the lemon juice into the milk and call it good. The eggs, I need to find my egg replacer, which may be in my basement. Hang on. This egg replacer is like 6 years past its due date, so if I die, you know what killed me. It's not that bad though. I've been using this for years. So let's see, 1 egg is 1 tablespoon of the dry mixture plus 3 tablespoons of liquid. So I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of this into the dry mixture. I think you're supposed to actually mix it with the wet immediately, but I never do that because I'm lazy. Honestly, I almost never use this egg replacer. It's Bob's Red Mill, but I bought a case of it back in the day, so I've got like 2 of these left over. Usually I just skip the eggs or I use some flaxseed instead, but you know, gotta use this stuff up. Okay, 1.5 cups of almond milk, and I'm actually gonna do 1 3/4 cups because I need that extra liquid for the egg replacer. I can add a couple more tablespoons later if it is too dry. Then we need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And like I said, this is already the acid. When you're veganizing, you often do like something acidic like apple cider vinegar to interact with the baking powder and baking soda. It helps to create that lift. But in this case, with lemon juice already going in here, it's a little, yeah. Also 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and I need to put some more vodka in this. I'm running low. And the last ingredient is 4 tablespoons of melted butter, and I'm just going to do what I usually do, which is replace it with the Earth Balance margarine. And now we dump it all together and mix it up. This is definitely soupier batter than I thought it was gonna be. Glad I didn't add more liquid. So yeah, now I put it into tins. Shoot, I thought this made 12 muffins. It makes 14 to 18, so inconvenient number. Now they go into a 400-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes, and they have to cool for at least 30 minutes before I can eat them. So I will see you in about an hour. It's an hour later and the muffins are completely cooled now, and they look like very brown muffins. So let's see what they're like inside. They feel kind of heavy and I'm afraid they're bricks. Huh? They're cooked all the way through. I would not call it an attractive muffin on the outside. They smell amazing, so taste test now. They taste good. I mean, they're quite pleasant. Lots of spices, sweet. I mean, it's not like blow your mind delicious, but it's not what I remembered. The weird thing is just the texture. It's kind of lumpy and bumpy because of the almonds and the rice. And whenever the rice is on the top of it, it hardens. So there are these bits of like really hard, crackly rice, and it's weird. So I don't know what to think. They're very edible. I'm about to consume a large number of them because I'm starving. This is not as good as I remember it being. And I don't know if some of that's because I did veganize them. Usually that doesn't matter that much. Not with this sort of thing, not with the bumpiness. That's just the ingredients. So I don't know. It was worth trying again though. I mean, I might even make it again, but like make it with real eggs or something just to double check, but sure is a strange recipe. I'm in my pajamas, as you can see. I'm going to go eat a large number of these while binge watching Roswell, New Mexico on Netflix, because sometimes I just need that. And yeah, thanks for coming along on this strange little late evening baking adventure. Until tomorrow.